Hi, my name is Joseph Parker, WBO champion of the world, and you're watching Sporting Icons.
Okay, so this weekend, of course, will be Tyson Fury versus Francis Ngannou, that circus fight. Anyway, on the undercard, which is what I want to talk about, is Martin Bakole versus Carlos Takam. Basically, it's a fight between two guys who defeated Tony Yoka. That's all it is, because there's nothing in it for Martin Bakole. Now, there's something in it for Carlos Takam. He beats Bakole, then, of course, he's going to be ranked across the sanctioning bodies. But currently, there's nothing in it for Martin Bakole. Now, Carlos Takam, he's a guy who got knocked out by Alexander Povetkin, what was it, about 9 years ago or something like that. Stopped by Anthony Joshua, 6 years ago. Knocked out by Derek Chisora 5 years ago. He lost last year to Arseniy Makhmudov, the year before then against Joe Joyce, and I think it was about 5 years ago he got beat on points by Joseph Parker. And listen, this guy has been around and he's been in there, okay? And he's a warrior. He is a warrior, okay? I'm not dismissing him whatsoever. He put on a very good performance against Tony Yoka, but that was a Tony Yoka who had recently just lost to Martin Bakole at that point. Now, as far as this fight's concerned, Martin Bakole should be going in there and steamrolling him, and get him out of there relatively early, at least in the first half of the fight. Now, I won't be surprised if Martin Bakole stops him in the first 2 or 3 rounds, but you never know. Takam, he is quite durable and whatever else, and of course he does come to fight. He never comes to lay down, which is always good from Carlos Takam. But as I said before, there's nothing in it for Martin Bakole. And that's one of the frustrating things, because if Martin Bakole is as good as what his trainer manager Billy Nelson says that he is, where Martin will beat Joshua, Martin will beat him, Martin will beat Martin. Well, okay, prove it. A fight against Carlos Takam ain't proving it. The fight beforehand against that Ukrainian nicknamed the Hulk ain't proving that. Martin Bakole, who got knocked out by Michael Hunter some odd years ago. So, I don't know what it is, and listen, okay, Martin Bakole, he likes to talk about, and as does Billy Nelson, likes to talk about the sparring stories, which is very disrespectful, how he knocked the head guard off Joe Joyce, and he dropped Alexander Usyk with a body punch, and he cut Hughie Fury's eye, and he's beat up Daniel Dubois and whatever else. And listen, that's fine. I'm not saying these things didn't happen. What I'm saying is you kind of keep it to yourself. What you don't do is put it out there in the atmosphere. You don't do that. It's very, very disrespectful, which for me, and I've said it before, I'll say it again, if you're a sparring partner of Martin Bakole, why would you bring him in? Because ultimately with sparring, you could go in there not really feeling it today, not really bothered about it. It could be your first day of camp, it could be whatever, okay, and you're out of shape and whatever else. And Martin Bakole is super fit at that point and he'll punch you all over, and before you know it, he's putting out there how he handled you with ease. So why would you spar him? I don't get it. Now, him fighting Carlos Takam on an undercard in Saudi Arabia, this is on the Saudis' coin. Okay, this is them paying for it. This is not Boxer and Sky Sports paying for it. If it was, I can understand it. This is not Queensbury paying for it. All of this is funded by the Saudis. Again, I'm pretty sure Frank Warren hasn't had to put his hand in his pocket at all for this particular show, or at least you wouldn't have thought so. And with that said, you've got fighters on this very same card like Arseniy Makhmudov, like Joseph Parker, for example. These fights are more credible for a Martin Bakole, who is apparently one of the best around, rather than a Carlos Takam. I said, listen, there's nothing wrong with Carlos Takam, okay? He is a warrior, but if you want to make a statement, there's other fighters out there to make a statement against, where you can boost your rankings, you can solidify your rankings, and all these kind of things. A win over Carlos Takam does nothing. It's not impressive. It's nothing great. Even if you knocked him out in the first 2 or 3 rounds, it's nothing that impressive. It really isn't. A rematch with Michael Hunter would have been better. Correct that wrong. Especially considering, didn't he get some kind of money or a loan? I don't know whether it was a loan or a gift from his Congolese government of it was about 100,000 or something to fight Michael Hunter, and he never went through with the fight. I don't know why. Maybe it's Michael Hunter's fault. I have no idea. But the point is, a fight with Carlos Takam does nothing for Martin Bakole's career. I mean, who's advising him to take on Carlos Takam? I said, for what reason? For what reason? It's just a battle of the two guys who beat Tony Yoka. That's the only thing that it is. It's the only thing it is. Listen, I'm not saying it's a terrible fight, not at all, but I'm saying it's just a battle of the guys who beat Tony Yoka. That's all it is. It does nothing for Martin Bakole's career. And that's the frustrating thing about it, because if he is as good as what Billy Nelson and everybody else would have us believe, okay, then put him in there with someone. It's not like Joseph Parker. You couldn't have fought Joseph Parker. Again, listen, they may say, well, you know, they know each other very well because they've sparred and they've been in Tyson Fury's training camp together and all that kind of stuff. Okay, great. You can still fight. Okay, business is business, right? Arsbek Makhmudov is on the same card. So again, he was available. Unless all these fighters are turning down Martin Bakole, I mean, is that possible? Yeah, possibly. But I wouldn't have thought so. It's not like Martin Bakole's a boogeyman. Not at all. Filip Hrgović, the IBF mandatory, who's in line for a world title shot, said he will fight Martin Bakole. Well, why has that fight not happened? It seems that Bakole wants to mention the names of Joshua. Payday wants to mention the name of Tyson Fury quite recently as well. Again, Payday, world title shot. Usyk, again, world title shot, Payday. But he's not mentioning the other fighters around that would get him that world title shot, because people go, ooh, Martin Bakole just defeated this guy and this guy. That's really good. He definitely deserves a world title shot. He's not doing that. By fighting a guy in Carlos Takam who, regardless of how the fights were going up to those points, he lost to Anthony Joshua, to Joe Joyce, to Derek Chisora, to Alexander Povetkin, to Joseph Parker, and some others. That's the reality of it, and that's what's frustrating about it. I said, if this was on a Sky Sports card with their limited funds, I can understand it. From a certain point of view, I can understand it. But this is on the Saudi coin. They're paying for this, right? So I don't know how we're supposed to be expected to believe that Martin Bakole is the best of the best and whatever else when you're fighting Carlos Takam. I mean, what would people say if Martin Bakole was fighting Derek Chisora? People go, oh, come on, that's just ridiculous. Well, Derek Chisora knocked out Carlos Takam. Did he not? What if Alexander Povetkin come back and Martin Bakole took on Povetkin? Oh, what the hell, that's just ridiculous. Well, Povetkin knocked out Carlos Takam. Okay, this is what I'm saying to you. And it's not like fighters get better with age. They don't really. Stylistically, they can look better against certain fighters like Zhilei Zhang, for example. He can look great against a Joe Joyce. But how would he get on against Bakole? How would he get on against a Joshua or a Fury or whatever? Anyway, as I said, it's just another fight. It's just another day in the time in the life of a Billy Nelson and Martin Bakole. That's all it is. And it's a shame, because I really want to get behind Martin Bakole. I was really behind him at one point. I really believed in him. But the opposition that he's choosing lately is making me question it. I'm sorry, but it is. Anyway, my thoughts, drop me yours. Click on the subscribe. Catch you next video.